$100 million leads, mastering Google Ads. Like I said, Google Ads are doing well. I learned a new tool to use for measuring landing page speed and optimization. And that's a tool I'll look into optimizing further. But I thought while I'm here in $100 million leads, I might as well continue until I finish the paid ads section of $100 million leads, which I've got a decent amount of content to get through. Okay. We've been talking about the call to action. Yesterday we kind of went over or studied the nonverbal cues, likeness, so people pay attention more to people that look like them. Dang it. Scene, so like what's going on in the video, like kind of visualizing the yes questions, the if then statements, such as like someone tossing and turning in bed is going to call out to people that have sleeping problems, etc. The third nonverbal the third nonverbal grouping or call out was contrast. So more attractive people get more attention than normal looking people. Shiny things get more attention than non-shiny things or dull things. Movement gets more attraction than static. Noise gets more attention than quiet. I don't really like that as calling that contrast, because what are you contrasting? I guess I know what I'm contrasting, but if it's just a shiny thing, yeah, okay, sure. I think it's an all right way of grouping them, but whatever. We got the point. We got the infinite ads. Oh my gosh. Type of way to do it. You record a couple videos, and then you just split test the hell out of the hooks. You make a ton of different hooks. That's how you can get to infinite ads. Likeness, we have the mascot thing. Less of you, more sellable. Sure. Cool. So we're at the action step of a call to action or call out section. The action step of the call out section. And so I'm going to read this section now. Okay. That section was all about that was the call to action, or the action step for the call out section. Basically, he was just saying to pay attention to ads and what the advertisers use to get attention of their prospects. Now we're into the get them interested, the value section of the ad. So this looks like it's going to be a framework or two in here. This one's kind of denser, so I'll start in there. All right. Basically, what I've read so far is summed up. Here we go. This section, the value part of the ad, it's basically a good ad is kind of just conveying, simply answering the question of why should I be interested in what in your thing that you're selling. And basically, value comes from more benefits than costs, right? So the positives outweigh the negatives, the benefits outweigh the costs, and that is value. And the greater the propensity, or the greater the magnitude, the greater the magnitude of the benefits, the greater the ratio, saying the larger the benefits and the smaller the cost, like the bigger the difference is between these two, the more valuable something is. And value leads to taking the action, such as buying or giving you their contact information. So your offer or lead magnet has value, and the value is based on perceived benefits compared to perceived costs. And so great ads will maximize the perceived benefits of your offer or your lead magnet and minimize the perceived costs of your offer or lead magnet. And so to do this, Hormozy has a framework to maximize the value section of the ad, I believe, and it's called his what, who, when framework. Yeah. And so I'm about to get into this what, who, when, and the goal being of the what, who, when is to maximize perceived benefits and minimize perceived costs of the ad in order to maximize the perceived value and take action. The greater the value, the more action will be taken. Okay, and he kind of said this quote in there. It's like, your customers and prospects are not morons, they are your wife. It's David Ogilvy, probably is one of his mentors. It's a quote from him, essentially. And I thought that was interesting. So you should treat them as if they're, rational and intelligent, and treat them as so, and write to them rationally, not just trying to trick them or something, but to be honest, but to be well thought through, and structure your ad in order to maximize the perceived benefits, minimize the perceived costs. So now I'm going to start reading that what section of the what, who, when framework. All right, folks. I've just gone ahead and read the what section of the what, who, when framework, and the what, who, when framework is to maximize the perceived value of your offer or lead magnet in the ad. And the what, there's 8 key elements, basically 4 pairs, and a good ad's going to show all 8 of these elements. And so the first one is, what is the first one? Basically the benefits, right? The dream outcome. It's going to show the dream outcome of what happens, or what can happen with your product or service or whatever you're selling. But it's also going to show the opposite. It's going to show the nightmare scenario of what can happen if you do not purchase. So both of these, through comparison, makes this even stronger, the benefit look even better, and not buying even worse by juxtaposing, by comparing. So pretty good stuff. 2, this is going to be perceived likelihood of success. So we're going to want to show whatever we need to show to increase perceived likelihood of success. Testimonials, explain away past failures, why other things didn't work, how this is different. You're also going to want to put the opposite, which is basically the perceived, what would this be? Perceived likelihood of success if you do not buy. So like likelihood you're not going to get it if you don't buy. Is that what? We're going to have to check this one. Is that one are kind of... Okay. basically perceived likelihood of success and then the perceived likelihood of risk. So you want to maximize the perceived likelihood of risk, the risk of not taking action and buying your offer. Then the last two are kind of like, no, they're similar. Time delay. So you kind of want to show, first of all, you want to show how long it can take if you do not buy your product to achieve the dream outcome. That could take, so much time, confusion, so just a long time. It may never happen. Versus buying it, it's gonna happen. It's much quicker in comparison to spending a lifetime wandering around, confused, frustrated, lost. And then finally, the fourth one is perceived effort and sacrifice. And so you want to put both the time delay and the effort and sacrifice. You want to be particularly showing what it can be like without your product so that it juxtaposes these and makes these look simple. If you have nothing to compare, like, oh, it takes 12 weeks. That seems like, 12 weeks, kind of long when you're comparing it to like you think in hours or days. But then you're for like, you could spend the rest of your life wandering around frustrated, lost, confused, never get your dream outcome, never solve your problem. Well, then 12 weeks seems like, 12 weeks, that's nothing. So that's why I think it's so powerful. And then it's the same with the effort and sacrifice. You want to maximize how much effort and sacrifice you can take without your product or service or whatever you're offering, and make it seem super hard, super like, you can spend so much effort, time, skill, sacrifice. You can't do the things you love. You're trying to solve this problem on your own, or you can keep doing what you love to do and spend the minimum amount of time solving your problem, getting your dream outcome by just using our proven solution. All right, that's pretty much it for today. Today we reviewed yesterday's nonverbal callouts section, and then we got into the value section. We also talked about the action step for the callout section, which is to pay attention to what ads do to get your attention, the creative ways advertisers are using to get your attention. And then we got into the value section of the ad, and we're talking about the what, who, when framework, and we're talking about the what framework, or the what section of that framework. And the what, who, when framework is basically trying to maximize the perceived value to maximize the action taken by the people, the prospects. And the what framework has 8 elements, and that is 4 pairs, dream outcome, nightmare, perceived effort and sacrifice, for both, the perceived time delay for both, as in not buying and buying, and then perceived likelihood of success versus perceived risk of not taking action. Wow, it's very dense. I mean, the deeper I go into this book and how slowly I'm going through this book is like, it's very profound how he's came to such simple frameworks and clear explanations and knowledge of this type of information, because it's really, really beneficial. If you have all 8 of those in an ad, and then you're split testing like 30 different hooks, you're gonna kill advertising. Like, you're gonna destroy, unless your offer is so bad. Your offer has to be so bad for this not to like kill an advertising. At least that's what I think. Okay, that's it for today. I'll talk to you guys later.